Have you ever had a situation where you wrote an email to someone and you carefully crafted it, choosing your words carefully, probably reread it and rewrote it, and maybe even you had someone else read it and help you edit it, and they didn't understand you the way you intended them to? This happens to all of us. And a lot of times when I'm working in workshops and consulting with leaders all around the country, this is a question that a lot of them ask me. Hey, can you help me craft my emails better so that they're less misinterpreted? I'm Halelly Azulay. I'm your leadership development strategist with TalentGrow, and I'm here to tell you that my suggestion to those leaders and to you is don't use email for important communication that may be misinterpreted. Don't use email for that. Email is a fantastic tool, but it's really good for dry factual information or very short, quick messages. It really isn't good for important conversations because we need the emotional subtext in those conversations in order to assess how are we doing with this person? What is our relationship like? What is trust like? Here's what we know from science. Our brain, we now know, is constantly scanning the environment for signs of danger, for threats. But what we also now know is that our brain is actually going to perceive physical threats in the same way as it perceives social threats. Our brain doesn't see the difference between someone pointing a gun at you and someone potentially cutting you out from an important project at work. Our brain thinks of those things as equally dangerous, and it's going to go into a threat reaction mode with either one of those. So how do our brains assess the situation? Well, we're looking for all of the information that comes in through all five senses. So we're listening for the words that the person chose when they're talking to us, but we're also listening for all of the nonverbal components of the message, like the tone of their voice, how loud they said it, how fast, their pitch and their projection in that message. We're also looking at their facial expressions as they're giving us that message. Are they making eye contact? Are they averting their eyes? Are their brows frowned? Do they smile? Are they frowning? What is their situation in terms of their shoulders, their physical body, their arm motions, their proximity to us? All of those things are really important components of the message, and our brains know to read those. And what we also know from studies that have been replicated over and over and over again, when there is an emotional subtext to a communication and our brains are perceiving some kind of a mismatch between what the words are saying and what the rest of the body is saying in the nonverbal, guess which part of that mismatch the brain throws out as not credible? The words. Our brains, when they perceive that there is a mismatch between what the words are saying and how they're being said, if that doesn't seem congruous, our brain trusts the nonverbal message to be the delivery of the truth a lot more than the words. So for example, if you said, "I'm not angry," those words are meaningful. But if the person said, "I'm not angry," then the rest of the message is actually saying, whoa, this person's pissed. And your brain is going to read that and say, you know what? Those words don't mean anything to me. I don't believe you. I think you're mad. So what happens in email? We don't have any of that context. We don't have any of the nonverbal emotional components of the message to read. And so your very helpful brain wants to get that information, and guess what it does? It makes it up. We actually start to fill in the missing components to that message with made-up stuff that we conjure up based on our mood at the moment, our past experiences with this person, what we've experienced with maybe a similar person or a person in a similar position who has said something like this, and a whole host of other things. This is where email really backfires big time, when there is some kind of an emotional relationship component to the message because it's missing context and our brains make it up. So much miscommunication can be avoided if we avoid email as our channel of communication for important conversations that we really need to be having face-to-face, or at minimum, picking up the phone so that we have the vocal components of the message present. I hope that this has been a helpful tip for you. And if you want more helpful information about how to increase your leadership effectiveness and improve your communication skills, please check out my regular blog, my regular bi-weekly newsletter, which is free, and of course the podcast that I run, TalentGrow Show. All of that can be found on talentgrow.com. I look forward to staying in touch with you, and until the next time, make today great.